Ancillaries have actually reported pretty strong numbers in Q2. In fact, the best performing sector per se in terms of an outperformance versus expectations. Pashupati Advani of Global Foray is also with us on the show. Pashupati, I remember in our last conversation, you'd said that you're bullish on infrastructure per se, and there were names like, JK, which you like quite a bit, J Kumar Infra, I'm sorry. What about, a stock... Sorry, what about a stock like JSW Infra? It's one of the new recent listings, port handler, second largest in terms of market, market share before Adani Ports. But unlike Adani Ports, this one does not have debt on its books, and they're making acquisitions to grow. Is JSW Infra a stock that you've looked at?
Well, I haven't looked at it with the care and love that I probably should have, but it is in the space. It is one of the biggies, and I think it will gradually attract institutional money. The issue with a stock like this is that it comes as a new issue, then it takes a little bit of time to get into the indices and all the other things that go along with that. So as long as that's happening, it's a good time to buy it. But then once it gets into futures, it gets in the MSCI index, it gets in all the other indices overseas, and people start picking it up, then it'll just take a life of its own. But obviously there's no reason to believe that this stock will not perform in line with the others in the same pack, like the Adanis of this world.
Okay, Pashupati, hi, good afternoon. Season's greetings to you. So I think the street is getting in a bit in the Diwali mood, I guess, after the gloom of late October. You tell us, what do you have your eye on? And specifically, if you can, talk to us about a couple of these companies like Zomato, PB Fintech. I mean, they are really the toast of town suddenly all over again.
Well, if you're watching the World Cup, you know that Zomato's racing because people are sitting wherever they're sitting and ordering deliveries. But jokes aside, people do feel that it's had very good results this quarter, but it'll probably go off. They're giving lesser guidance simply because they feel they've got a big boost because of the World Cup, and I think that's a plus in its favor. The magic four, as I call them, Paytm, Zomato, Nykaa, and Policybazaar. Those are the four that came one after the other. Paytm's been a definite winner. Zomato is now also off to the races. Nykaa has done, and Policybazaar is also sort of doing okay. But I think that's what they call the new wave of stocks on the Wall Street, the new way where people are going.
But would you own them, Pashupati? Like you say, when Nykaa has been like a little there's a lot of competition in that space. Would you buy either of the four? I mean, any of the four? One, all, none?
No. So I was in Paytm. I got out. I'm trying to scratch my head as to when and where I should go back. I sold it in the mid 700s, and it went up to 900 something. Now it's in the high 800s. But I think the business model of Paytm is solid. There was rumor also of, with Vodafone having all sorts of issues that either Paytm or Amazon would take a stake. That is obviously on the back burner because the Birlas have announced they're going to put some more money in. So that's going to put paid to that. But at the end of it all, both these people, both Paytm and Amazon, need to touch the public, and there's no other way to do it but through the telecom company. And since Jio is their big competitor, they're not going to let them through. And with Airtel, we'll see.
Pashupati, hi, good afternoon. So, the other stock that I wanted to ask you about was what's happening in the auto space, right? Because there's so many companies which are doing well post their numbers. So we were talking about a few of them, whether it's Exide, Bharat Forge, but then there are plenty of others, right? Maruti, for example, had a very strong set of numbers, and so many others in the OEMs. What would your top picks be?
Well, the answer is, have you tried to buy a car recently? So it's like almost impossible because all the cars have a wait list. So I think that obviously Maruti Suzuki has got a car for every budget, and we seem to be going to they're filling all the buttons. The interesting thing is that the luxury market seems to be doing well. There is cars over 40 lakhs, and I think the challenge with that is that none of those companies are really listed. So I think, that's one place to look if you get the ancillaries of that. So then, you've got all the autos and auto ancillaries seem to be going off, even though there was an article in the newspaper a couple of days ago that Bombay's got so many cars that it's got traffic jams, and that, they're letting more cars on and there are no roads and there's too much traffic. So we're heading towards the Bangkok of old, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. So cars are doing well, consumption stocks like Zomato are doing pretty well, but do you see this spreading, this pickup in recovery, consumption, spreading to the rural markets? Because that's a space where growth has been lagging and been subpar for a while now. So what we've seen so far in the Q2 numbers, Pashupati, are you seeing green shoots, and will the rural recovery be a theme that you would look at closely?
See, the government is basically between now and next May is going to be pumping on infrastructure. So anything to do with, roads, whether it's steel, cement, they're all doing fine. Okay. And that is obviously going to touch the rural area as well, because they want to try and get the last mile. They want to try and get more of the, the tier 2, tier 3 towns and some of the outlying areas into the loop, into the spending, and, give them credit also. The other side of it is you're reading some articles that say that the fintech stocks are giving loans too cheaply and too easily, and high-risk loans, and people are stopping to pay. So that is a little bit of concern. So where those people are, I don't know. But the numbers, I mean, they're talking about all people who have made loans of 10, 20, 30,000 rupees. Those are beginning to show some kind of slow payments, maybe slight defaults. So I think that's one of the things that we have to look. Well, pray it never happens, but it's kind of a sword over our heads. So I don't know how to actually track that.
Pashupati, I mean, at a wider level, what is this market telling you? Are we past the worst of the worries, high interest rates and surging bond yields, all of that, geopolitics? Are we past the worries, or is this just a period of interim relief?
No, I think, you have to look at rates globally are higher than we're used to. And that's actually beginning to hurt some of the larger US companies. But you're actually looking at points at which, people are shifting from equities to hybrid funds in the mutual fund sector, into debt, into FDs. I mean, today, you're getting 7.5% from most of the banks today in 1 year FTs. So, it's a good place for you to be if, for people to shift money to. And I think that's actually what's happening. And if you're a senior citizen, you're getting another 0.5%. So definitely the senior money is moving in that direction, because 8% is quite compelling for someone who doesn't have to do anything and doesn't have to deal with the vagaries of our market. And I will say the vagaries of our market again.
Any thoughts on some of these stocks that have been big losers in the last 1 year but are making their presence felt now? Something like a Metropolis. That whole diagnostic space was undergoing a lot of competition, so much pricing pressure, discounting, etc. But now seems like the worst is over and these stocks are up. Metropolis is up 7%. Is this a stock you like?
Well, the whole, I think Dr. Lal's results were out a couple of days ago, if I'm not wrong, and they were quite encouraging. The challenge is that these guys had got a huge amount of business because of testing for vaccines, and they were really making a lot of money. And now they've gone back to normal. But again, we are a country with people with a lot of extra sugar. Over 100 million people are suffering from diabetes, maybe more. 100 million people are detected. So I think all these stocks are getting the benefit of that, and the testing continues. And they're the top of the pack. I mean, the reality is that the 4 or 5 large players are in the space, and they are getting the lion's share because their results and their equipment is high quality, and their results are accepted by hospitals. Whereas some of the not so good ones, they say, please do the tests again and go to Dr. Lal's or go to Metropolis. So they are benefiting from what I would call the quality, the perceived quality of the so-called testing centers. So yes, they're going to continue to do well. And let's hope we don't have another bout of COVID or some other vaccine which will give them a boost, but it's not good for the public. But that's what it is.
It's not COVID, but respiratory diseases are on the rise due to very poor AQR in cities like Delhi and Mumbai. But let's see how that plays out. Pashupati, thank you very much for joining in. By the way, 19,400 on the Nifty, guys. It's 173 points up. The Sensex has gained 560 points. I think the recent low was 18,837. So from that level, we've seen a rally of now 550 points plus. So it's been a pretty good comeback. Individual stocks which have moved up as we speak. It's Bajaj Finance at the day's high. You've got Reliance Industries, which is looking up. Bharti Airtel, and a couple of IT names. So Wipro is looking up. Infosys too is seeing some buying as we speak. Get into a break on that note. On the other side, we'll tell you what you can buy today to sell tomorrow. Calls from our technical experts.